Last week I made a video about this magazine. It's called The New Pioneer, and I talked about an article in it that I really loved and wanted to bring that across to my channel because it was kind of about being self-sufficient. And I thought it was good information, and I said that a week later I would review another article from another magazine, which is this magazine, Countryside, which I'm going to do here. But I just want to say the New Pioneer video, I don't think it was well received. I don't know if maybe people don't want me to talk about this stuff, but I checked the analytics on YouTube, and within 24 hours of uploading this video, I lost 10 subscribers. So it leads me to believe that people really don't like these magazine reviews, but it's something that I enjoy, and I like a lot of the topics that are covered in here, and I'm sure there's people out there that do, but it's tough when you have a channel that makes a variety of things because people come here for one thing in particular. A lot of times it's chocolate lab videos, which I do a lot of, as you probably know. But when you do something kind of off the path, like a magazine review, and it's about homesteading, which I don't think is a common thing, people tend to leave, so that's what happened. So you have to let me know if you want me to do these in the future. Just leave a comment, but otherwise I will get into the review here of Countryside magazine. This is the January-February 2014 issue, so we're a little bit behind right now. Now, if you remember the video from last week, I initially kind of wrote this magazine off I judged the magazine from its cover, really, and I kind of wrote this off based on some of the things they were talking about on the cover here, like ice fishing, and there is a big section that I'm not really interested in ice fishing. I don't really have a connection with that, so that really wasn't something I was into. There is a section on starting your own chicks from day one, which would have really been helpful for me a year ago, but right now I already know how to do that, so that's not too helpful. And then there's caring for livestock in cold weather, which I did that with pork chop I guess for the most part. I did fail at that, so maybe that would have been helpful if there was something about electric fences and snow. But once you get into the magazine from the cover, there are some good articles in here. And this magazine kind of covers everything related to being self-sufficient in homesteading. And I really liked when I initially got into it. There is a small section here about their philosophy, and I'll just read it to you here really quickly. It says, "Our philosophy, not a single idea, but many ideas and attitudes, including a reverence for nature and a preference for country life, a desire for maximum personal self-reliance and creative leisure, a concern for family nurture and community cohesion, a belief that the primary reward of work should be well-being rather than money, a certain nostalgia for the supposed simplicities of the past, and an anxiety about the technological and bureaucratic complexities of the present and the future, and a taste for the plain and functional." It says, "Countryside reflects and supports the simple life and calls its practitioners homesteaders." So that really spoke to me, not so much the whole technological thing, obviously, but the well-being and working for that as opposed to money and just living a simple life. And I think that is really important. And the articles that I liked in this, there were several actually. There was one about supplies for winter traveling and what you should have in your car, which I thought that was pretty handy to know. There was a section about making a small farm work, and it was about these people that initially had just a very small herd of sheep, and they developed that into this huge farm and started leasing more acres out and developed into something that was pretty amazing, and I thought that was kind of cool. And then there was another section about composting, which is something that I want to learn about as well. So there are a lot of things in this that I found interesting, and it's I think like 90 pages, so or 106 pages actually, so there's definitely a lot in here that you're bound to find something that's of interest. And the one article that I really enjoyed, actually highlighted and took some notes on so I can make this video. It's actually right in from one of the people that have read Countryside magazine for a while. It just said a reader from Canada, and it's titled "Years of Prepping Paid Off." And then the tagline is "Employment downsizing barely fazed them." And it's about these people it's a woman writing it about her and her husband, who describes that in the late 90s, they were far from homesteaders. It sounds like they were kind of like city dwellers. They may have had a garden, but they didn't know anything about homesteading until they started reading Countryside magazine. And over time, they learned how to be more self-sufficient through this magazine. And they got to the point where I actually highlighted here, said they had a very good well, a vegetable garden that feeds us year-round. We raise meat birds and have laying hens. Fish is available directly from fish boats at the docks. We buy a pig from a neighbor who raises a few every year, and we also hunt. I can Freeze fruit, sauces, juice, meat, and fish. Bread, yogurt, and mayonnaise are made from scratch. 90% of cooking is from scratch. So these people, through this magazine, I'm sure maybe some other resources too, they went from one area where they said they didn't even have a clothesline to becoming mainly just 100% homesteaders, and I thought that was a really cool transition. They attribute a lot of it to this magazine, so that kind of impressed me. So the next paragraph says, "So where is this all going? After years of earning a good consulting income, my husband lost his job earlier this year as the industry he is involved with underwent a serious downsizing." So the lady goes on to say that because of what they did in preparing for a more simple life, when the husband lost his job, it wasn't such a big deal that it would be for a normal family that's, you know, in debt up to their eyeballs, and then when something happens, you have nowhere to go. These people were already pretty independent, and it paid off for them. And speaking of independence and just being a freer person, she gives some tips that I thought I'd share with you on how you can become more self-sufficient. Even if you're still living in the city, even if you're in an apartment, you can do a lot of these things. So I'll read these quickly to you. This isn't all of her list, but these are some things that I thought might apply to someone that's probably watching this channel. The first thing that you can do is either cut down on your cable or satellite package or get rid of it completely. She also cut down on electricity usage. See, that's something you can monitor, unplug things, figure out what's using a lot of your electricity, because that definitely adds up. Next thing is, this is what she considers her most important thing, was have a 6-month supply of food. And she says this is like an insurance policy. If you do this plus have a garden, then you're well on your way of being insulated from economic catastrophe. These people, when they initially started out, back in the beginning of the story, they lived in an area that was on an island, and she said that they had ferries that would bring in food, and if there was any kind of stoppage of that, within 3 days they would have been out of food. So she had a 6-month supply, and they're working on getting a 1-year supply for their house. So I thought that was probably a good idea. If you can just store up some things, it'd probably be beneficial for you. She said some bags of flour plus sugar in your storeroom, so good idea there. And then she goes on to talk about what they have planned next, and they want to get rid of all remaining debt, which is something I'm a big supporter of. You can't be free if you're making payments to people. You are their slave. You are paying. You have to earn income to pay for stuff that you already bought. It's a dangerous thing to get into. The next thing is get rid of as much lawn as possible and replace it with productive plants. I think that's a good idea. I have a lot of lawn here, which I wish I didn't have because it requires a lot of maintenance and mowing, but good plan there. They want to try growing grains, which would be oats and barley. And then finally add a dairy animal for cheese and yogurt making, and as you probably know, I'm a big supporter of that. So that was the article that I really loved from this magazine, and like I said, it was called Years of Prepping Paid Off, and I think that was really well done, and that's just crazy. That wasn't even like an article in the magazine. That was just written by a person that enjoyed the magazine, and that's what I connected with the most. So this is something I'm going to subscribe to, even though there's some articles on it that aren't great. You can't judge a magazine by its cover, and I think this is going to be a great magazine in the future. So you'll have to let me know if these are things that you want to see in the future, because I get the gist that this isn't really something that people are interested in, because I have an opportunity here. They have an ad inside here where I could get 20 of their past issues. It's just random issues that they had for $30, so $1.50. And if I made one video like this out of each one of those, that'd be kind of neat. I mean, it would cost me $20, but I think it'd be, or $30, but it'd be nice to share with people. And I think there's some value in this, and you don't have to subscribe. I could read the thing for you and give you all the information inside. So let me know what you think. This is the last of my magazines for now, but if this is something that you'd like to see, I'd be happy to order more. So thanks for watching.